Before we dive in, here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts. Hey there, true believers. Andy Nelson here from the Marvel Movie Minute podcast with the rest of the team.
Pete Wright, Kyle Olson,
Rob Cabasco,
and Matthew Fox.
This is the podcast where we dissect the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time, exploring every detail of this epic superhero franchise.
In our season looking at Iron Man 3, we're going to mix things up a bit.
That's right, Rob and I are your guides, but instead of our usual minute-by-minute format, we dive into 5 minutes of the film in each weekly episode.
It's a totally new approach, but one that still allows us to explore all the depth and detail that makes these movies so special, even if Iron Man 3 isn't all that special.
Hold on, that's where you're wrong. Extremist, Shane Black.
Yeah, would you like to look at the Mandarin and Maya Hansen? Mm-hmm.
So whether you're a die-hard Marvel fan or just love deep dives into movies, there's something for everyone on Marvel Movie Minute.
Suit up and join us on this epic audio adventure. You can find us at truestory.fm or by searching Marvel Movie Minute on your favorite podcatcher.
Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, every minute is packed with excitement.
Enough said.
Okay, now for the lightning round.
I'm so good at lightning rounds. That's from Friends. It's my favorite show.
20 seconds on the clock starts now. Who is the captain of the USS Enterprise?
Oh, crap. Is it, Captain Stubing? No, Morgan? Crunch?
Next question. Which superhero is Tony Stark?
Stark. Did Game of Thrones have superheroes? I only watched 2 episodes.
What planet were Luke and Leia born on?
Planet Fitness?
Oh, time's up. Sorry. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hey everybody, Mandy Kaplan here. Please check out my podcast, Make Me a Nerd, where each week an incredible guest tries to baptize this mainstream mom into the world of sci-fi, fantasy, and all things nerdy. Available wherever you podcast.
That's our show, folks.
Wait, I just thought of it. Padme Amidala gave birth to her twins Luke and Leia on Polis Massa. No, that's dumb. Is it Planet Hollywood?
Hello and welcome to Gank That Drink. A supernatural drinking game podcast. It's the podcast where we watch an episode of our favorite show, Supernatural. We play along with the drinking game rules that we've made up. We recap the episode for you and tell you how the rules played out. And then we tell you what's coming up for next week.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. That's how we rolls. That's what we do. But who are we? Who's that?
Oh, this is a guy
there
who had to so forcefully crack his bottle open to try to get good audio on it that I got a little beer on my laptop. So I'm Nate McWhorter, a teacher and a performer at the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona is my name. But right now I'm a guy cleaning up the keyboard. And who is that over there?
That's Krissy Lenz, one of the directors and also a performer at the downtown Mesa location. Well, the only location really of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater.
Oh.
So excited to be here to do this episode with you. I'm not gonna lie, I cried.
This is an all-timer, Krissy. This is I have a hard it's so good. I could watch it again right now. And I've watched it I think 3 times in the last couple of weeks. I love it, but it's also
great.
You're right, it's a tearjerker. One of our rules we'll get into is a man feels our BM scene, which I felt like a little bit unfair because that's pretty much the whole episode.
It's pretty much the whole episode. It's a very man-feely boy melodrama episode. It's true.
Yeah.
And we're talking, of course, about your episode, your pick for tonight. Tonight is a Nate McWhorter joint.
Yes, and we are still on the Chuck files. As
we're
I'm
on
calling
that
them.
Chuck wagon, baby.
The Chuck wagon. We are actually finishing up Chuck's kind of first run of the show here as at least an on-screen character, and that would be season 5, episode 22, the finale of season 5, thus appropriately named Swan Song.
Swan Song.
Now, Krissy, you mentioned that, yes, I mean, this is a tearjerker, and it's a tearjerker for a lot of reasons. One of those reasons being in season 5 at this time, it still wasn't even sure. They still weren't even sure that there was going to be a season 6.
Yep, they were kind of hanging on by the seat of their pants, and this was the ending that they wanted.
I mean, this episode is written like a series finale.
Yeah, it really is.
It's written like a series finale with then like that one little bit of Nightmare on Elm Street thrown in at the end, but like, it's
little did they know they have 10 more years to go.
Yeah, right. Like that's the thing that's just so wild about watching it, though. It is the whole way. You're just like, this is the end of the show. Like they're done. They're wrapping this. I mean, Chuck literally talks about how hard it is to end things, and we'll get into it. No, I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to talk about the Chuck of it all. And I'm excited to go over our rules, which are, Krissy.
You made up
like
the
I said,
rules for this one.
Man feels or like a BM scene. So like I said, most of this episode could be considered that. So I used a lot of discretion in this episode over the real true ones. I guess you got to go what's relative, grade on a curve. Chuck waxing about baby.
Okay.
Satan Sam on Sam. So whenever Sam and Lucifer are having talking to each other as one another. I guess I could have called that the Smeagol rule, right? That's like the great scene in Lord of the Rings. I just remember that scene in Lord of the Rings always stuck with me as a kid. Like I think more than most any other scenes from those movies. That scene where Smeagol's talking to, where Gollum and Smeagol are talking. And plotting and stuff, like, but the real anyway, weird tangent. Pop culture references. Taking a drink for some
pop culture references.
Yeah, speaking of, I'm just a good segue. We're taking a drink for every time the cage opens or closes.
Okay.
And then we're taking a shot for hey ass butt.
Yay! And I also counted every time Dean called Sam Sammy.
Yeah, I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't play the Sammy role. I was so wrapped up in everything else.
I just counted.
I literally thought about it. I think I heard one in this watch through, and I was like, I didn't count any Sammys.
Well, I missed the gank in the last episode, so we got each other's back.
True. All right. Krissy, are you ready to get into it?
I am so ready to get into it. Let's do it, Nate. Tell me Swan Song.
Carry on my wayward son. That's as much as I can sing, because then we'll get sued. All right. So that's I could only hope we'd get sued for someone listening to this because of that. Carry on my wayward son plays the beginning. I should have made this whole episode a double drinking episode. I failed to. I dropped the ball on that one too. But so we just get like basically a recap mostly of season 5. A little bit before, but it's mostly season 5. Angels and demons, and the boys are the vessels. And are they gonna say yes, or are they gonna not say? Or are they gonna have Lucifer and Michael have it out? Is it time for the apocalypse? We have changing channels in there where Gabriel is telling the boys, play your parts, play your role. Just let this all come to a head. The boys, but we can collect the rings of the 4 horsemen and we can put Lucifer back in the cage. Well, only if Sammy says yes, and then he jumps in with Lucifer in his head, and Dean's not going to let him do that. We already watched an episode where Dean knows the future, that if Sammy says yes, then he is Lucifer and things go real bad, right? So all of this, and finally here we are, we're at this moment where it's basically go, shut up or put up kind of time. And so it's time for
Time to
Supernatural.
make something happen. Yeah.
It's time for Supernatural. And we immediately out the gate hear Chuck's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Real waxy, real NPR Chuck going on here. Just talking about baby. Really talking about. I love these starts out. It's the plant in Janesville, which is actually where Abby's family lives in Wisconsin.
Oh, great.
Yes. There was like the millionth car rolled off of a plant in Janesville. 2 days later, an Impala that nobody cared about also rolled off a lot, but it would be the most important thing in the world. That's what
whole world.
In the whole world. That's what Chuck is going on about. Because for these boys, that car, that's their life. So we then cut to the boys. We get that good little preamble from Chuck, and we feel it like. Are you crying already, Krissy? Like in this episode, like at this? Because I mean,
no.
I could see how one would, because like these Chuck waxings are so well written, and so they're over the top, but in like the best way. Where I could definitely see like even like if you're going in this episode going, I don't know if they're gonna have Supernatural in the fall, and that's your opening. Whoo! I could see. I mean, that's tearjerker right at the beginning. So the boys are sitting on the hood of the car, drinking beers, hopefully waiting an appropriate amount of time before driving after drinking those beers. And
they're not.
Oh, I know they're not. I said hopefully. Dean comes up and says, "All right, I'm in. I'm up for it. You can say yes to Lucifer and we'll do this thing. You'll throw yourself in the pit with him and whatever. Fine, I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go along with it. You're a grown man. Maybe I got to grow up too." That's what he says.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah, it's a good line. So the boys then go to Bobby. They got to load up on some demon blood so that Sam has the strength to bite Lucifer.
Which, like, there's like 4 gallons in there. Nobody can imbibe 4 gallons of anything, let alone demon blood. Like, you couldn't drink that much water without throwing up.
No. It's so gross. And the fact like how they drained the demon anyway, like you get a quick shot of the demon hanging upside down in this random house. It's really strange.
And it's like another example of how like we don't always have qualms that demons are people infested with demons.
By
they just hung this guy upside down and drained the blood.
Yeah, we just assume they've already murdered the people inside the bodies. That's I guess the thing. So after we load up with Bobby, get the demon blood, the boys are driving. Sam says something about doing a triple Lindy, so take a drink for a pop culture reference there.
I missed that one.
Yeah, there's like some real. I kind of took some liberties on a couple of them because I was like, that's sort of one. There's also some I just don't think I got, but I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a pop. I should have looked it up. But we get a good BM scene in the car because Sam is saying, "You got to promise me. I almost made that a rule. Every time they say promise
me.
It's said a lot in this episode. Promise me you won't bring me back. There's like a lot of Point Break energy in this episode. You got to promise me. I'm coming for you one of these days.
I'll walk away.
We could just walk off the chessboard. That's later on. So, you don't come after me. And Dean's like, "What are you talking about? Of course I'm going to come try to bring you back. Like that's what we do. That's our thing. It's saving people, hunting things, bringing each other back from the dead. The family business. That's what we're out here for." And he's like, "No, go live your apple pie life. Go find Lisa." I can't ever not say Lisa like tell me what's up. Go find her and go to football games and do Boy Scouts, whatever, do all that stuff, live your normal life. And so he says, fine. I don't know if he agrees, but also Cass is sleeping in the back seat, and they make like a joke, oh, what a little angel. And he's like, angels don't sleep. But then it's never really like that
because he
concern's never
doesn't have any
brought up.
powers.
Yeah, I get that he doesn't have any powers. It's just, it's a weird way to reference or to like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I guess it was a funny way to remind everyone that, Cass doesn't have his
Cass
powers
is
right
here
now.
and he doesn't have powers. Yeah.
So, yes, they're on their way. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that when they were with Bobby loading up on blood, Bobby was like looking for signs and omens of where Lucifer might be, and he's like, oh yeah, there's a temperature drop in a 5-block radius in downtown Detroit, and Dean's like, that's where he is. He's like, how'd you know? I do. I've literally been to the future. I know.
He told
I
me,
know.
yeah.
He told me. Satan told me. It was like 15 episodes ago. We totally know. So they go to Detroit. Yes, of course, the place is crawling with demons, and the boys are just gonna march in the front door. That's the plan. And Sammy chugs all the demon blood.
Gross.
And in they walk. Hey boys, your father home? And they just take him on up, and there's Lucifer standing at the window, and he goes, hey guys. I love I love the
Good of you
interplay
to drop
between
by.
I see a lot of people think I run hot, but actually, sorry, it's cold in here. As he's drawing just like this little cartoon pitchfork in the window. So the boys, they got their plan, right? They got the rings. They're hoping we had talk. Hopefully he doesn't know about the rings. As soon as they say that line, we're all like, well, he definitely knows about the rings.
He definitely knows.
Like,
Yeah, you just said it out loud.
You just said it. Of course he knows about the rings. So there they are on with Lucifer, and he says, I know about the rings, and Sam says, all right, doesn't change a thing. Let's still do it. He goes, you versus me, 1 round in your head, no tricks. I like the sounds of that. And we get Chuck, actually, right before that, we get a little Chuck interlude. Chuck talking about baby again. This is where Chuck goes on about the army man that's shoved into the ashtray and the Legos that are in the AC, and when the heat runs, you can hear it rattle. So he talks, I mean, again, just so beautifully about like, and it really, again, this is, I think in this time it's okay to take Chuck as a proxy for the writers. I think that themselves, I think they've made that pretty clear thus far with the character of Chuck and what they've done with him. Because we see him in the real Ghostbusters, and that's really where it's like, hint, hint, this guy. Anyway, this guy's us. We kind of feel like this guy, right? Like, because we have all the fan service comments and all that. So I think it's just real interesting that they write this like, again, like, this is a goodbye. This episode is a goodbye. This is an episode is a goodbye letter to our fans, a farewell to our characters. We might not see you. This might be it. And especially in these Chuck interludes, it's so well done. So Sam wants to say yes. And he kills off the demons, and so I love Satan's I counted this pop culture reference, chock full of Ovaltine, are we?
I counted that, yeah.
Yeah, so good pop culture reference there. And then we also get where Satan says fiddle of gold against your soul. So we get another pop culture reference there with Lucifer talking about that. So, of course, Sam says it changes nothing. He says yes. Into Sam's head goes Lucifer, or Sam's head and body. Dean opens the cage, take a drink, and Sammy wakes up and he's like, you gotta go in. And of course, as he gets to the precipice of the cage, he turns on the Bond villain smile, turns around. I was just playing with you, Dean. And like Padalecki does such a good job of really changing his tone and doing a good Lucifer. So
he relaxes. Like, Sam is very tense and Lucifer is very relaxed.
yeah, he just becomes real smug, smiley. Yes, very suave. And so, yep, nope. He closes the cage and walks his butt on out of there, leaving Dean unharmed. But before he does this, I always said this would happen in Detroit. So like that line, because okay, yeah, that was like the angels showing Dean the future if Dean didn't say yes to Michael, right? That's what the episode, the end, is about. That we talked about on our last time on
2 times ago. Yep.
2 times ago. Yes.
It was your last episode. Yeah.
My last episode. Yeah. Sorry. Last time on the Chuck Files, on the Chuck Wagon.
Yeah.
We talked about the end. There are, like I said, there's the real Ghostbusters, which he appears in, which is an episode we did a while back, so we did not see that, but that is the one where it is the supernatural convention with the role playing game and everything like that, and of course Chuck is there as the guest, and we have Becky and all that. Just to rehash that episode real quick, so I think that this line by Lucifer, I always said it would happen in Detroit, is so telling or so interesting, because it's like, is Lucifer omniscient as well? Because like, how would he know that the angels went through this whole little brain exercise with Dean a while back to show him this?
Well, I think he knows more than the average bear.
I get that, but I want to know how he knew that Dean knew it would, like, Dean had seen this.
Yeah.
And that this was, other than me just being like, I think it's because I think maybe that's just God talking / Chuck talking through Lucifer, just being like, just saying, spouting off. This would always happen in Detroit. So yeah, that's now things are bad. Now things are real bad. We go right to some Sam on Satan. Sam talking in the mirror. So take a drink. We get a good pop culture reference. Such anger, young Skywalker. Is what he says. And then he says, "This is your life," as there's like a whole like room of people behind him. He says, "This is your life. That's your grade school teacher. That's your friend from East Lansing. That's your prom date. All of Azazel's children. Keeping an eye on you since you are a Rugrat." I counted Rugrat as a pop culture reference. Take a drink. I don't know what that really is. I don't know. Like I said, I took some liberties.
Okay.
So he's like, basically like, you want to kill him? You want to do some killing? You want to get some rage out? Because I can feel you. I feel that you might actually be enjoying this. Like, I can see inside you, and you're not totally hating this, Sam. As Sam is saying, I'm gonna kill you from the inside. I'm gonna claw out my way out. I'm gonna totally take you down. We cut back to Dean with Bobby and Cass, and everything. The world is going. You're hearing the news reports, hundreds of thousands of casualties, and all these natural disasters and everything. And Dean is like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" Cass just drinking copious amounts of alcohol and waiting for the inevitable blast wave. Yep. And he turns to Bobby and he's like, "Bobby?" And Bobby's like, kind of team alcohol and blast wave. And then and Dean's like, "No, this is not acceptable. We're not doing that." And so they're like, "Okay, well, we don't really, this is your life. You do whatever you want." So this is when Dean calls Chuck now.
Yeah.
Chuck, who is apparently expecting a call from Mistress Magda.
Yeah. I don't know how that works. He's got the ad open on his table.
Maybe she was busy and had to call back. She was with a client already, and I was going to call back. Thus, it furthers the storyline that Chuck loves to call sex lines, phone sex lines. It's such an interesting thing that they keep bringing back. And then here is, so when he's on the phone with Dean and he of course says Mr. Magna, and he's like, what, who's Mr. Magna? He's like, oh, nothing. And Dean says, you've got a real virgin hooker thing going on, don't you?
Yeah.
You know what else has a real virgin hooker thing, Krissy?
What else?
The Bible, as like just chock full of them. Just chock full of both. I'm just saying, all I'm saying is if we're looking for evidence, which I definitely am, that the writers have absolutely planned that Chuck is God from his inception as a character, this is one of those lines. You've got a real and then like the evidence, because he says what happened to Becky, and he's like, oh, I had to let her go. I forget what the line he specifically says is, but like, yeah. So that's when he says you got a real virgin hooker thing going on. It's like, yeah, no, that's because it's kind of his deal as God.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's not my strongest evidence in this episode, but it's starting to build the case. So he basically gives up, and this is the other, okay, so this is part of it too, this whole conversation, because he says, all right, where's the battle, like, do you know, are the angels saying anything, where's this battle going down? He goes, no, the angels are keeping it hush hush, but I found out anyway. And then the way he delivers this line, way Rob Benedict delivers the line of like where he tells Dean it's going down is at this cemetery, and Dean's like, I know, that's like some boneyard outside of Lawrence. Of course it's in Lawrence, where the boys are from. But like the way Chuck delivers the line, or the way Rob Benedict delivers the line as Chuck, and like it's almost sinisterly. And I know that could be just putting the view of the future and what we know happens onto it. But like the way he delivers his line is very much like a villain. Like, yes, the graveyard. I need you to go and be at the graveyard. Like,
okay,
you're starting to see, like I said, and it's so matter of factly. It's not like, and again, the way, how did he actually get this information? We know it's not like Kevin Tran will be able to tap into secret angel radio waves or whatever, or like get information.
But Leonardo sort of can.
Yeah. It still just seems so different the way that Chuck is a prophet. Obviously he is. It's such a different thing than when we see prophets later on, because our prophets later on, and when we see Chuck, he is very like, he plays as very neurotic, a lot like Kevin and
right.
Leonardo. But as this episode progresses, he's this whole episode he's not. This entire episode he is calm, cool, relaxed. By the end of it, when we get to his last bit, he's wearing a nice like white dress shirt, like glowingly white dress shirt, basically the nicest thing we've ever, yes, and is like the nicest thing you've ever seen Chuck dressed in, as he's like finishing off the last of whatever this bottle is. We'll get to it in the last scene, but it's woof, the symbolism is there.
Okay, I missed that.
So we cut back, and Satan Sam has killed all those poor demon people that were in his life. Yeah, that was actually before the Mistress Magda call. So gotta turn the page now. Dean's heading out to the battlefield.
Yep.
We get to the battlefield. There's Michael, there's Lucifer. Michael is, of course, Adam, the boy's half brother.
The boy is MacGuffin of a half brother. We completely forget about.
Yes, and that was in our oh my gosh, road so far. They definitely go over the Adam of it all.
Yeah,
and how we got to him, because Dean wouldn't say yes, and so Michael uses Adam. We get a good BM scene between Michael and Lucifer.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
Which again, I just love all this pondering. God's the one, he's the one who left us. No one makes him do anything. This is what, one of his tests we don't even know the answer to? Why are we going to kill each other? Lucifer is trying to be the pragmatic and reasonable one in this situation. And it's the frat boy hard on for rules at all times, do whatever, it's the stupid angels that are hell-bent on destruction. And of course Lucifer is an angel, so that's in his nature as well, but he's again the one trying to be like, we don't have to do this, we can have free will, we can walk off the chessboard.
Yeah.
And Michael's like, nah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna kill you.
Nah, because we live in heaven, and so we're upstairs people, and we don't feel the need to. We actually want to eliminate even not just the downstairs, but like the whole main floor as well, all so that we can just maintain our little upstairs. So he says, well, if we gotta fight, and he says, then Lucifer says, I'd like to see you try. And we basically get him like Street Fighter standoff. Let's fight. And then cut to here comes baby. In goes an 8-track of Def Leppard.
It's a cassette tape.
It's a cassette tape, I know. In goes a cassette tape of Def Leppard. And all right, here comes Dean down to save the day, and Lucifer is like, this is a whole new mountain of stupid even for you. Michael's like, what are you even doing here?
You're messing it up, bro.
This is my fight. Michael's so whiny.
Yeah.
He's the whiniest.
He super is.
Oh my god. And Dean's like, I'm not here to talk to either of you. I'm here to talk to Sam. And he's like, and Lucifer's like, nah, he's gone. You're not. And then record scratch. Hey, ass butt. It's Cass.
Yay!
And he throws an angel Molotov at Michael, and Michael disappears. And Cass says, I got you your 5 minutes. He'll be back, and he'll be angry. Oh my gosh, all-time moment, take a shot. It's so beautiful, so wonderful. Cass in his moment of weakness when he has of course, unfortunately, Lucifer goes, Castiel, did you just Molotov my brother? No one dicks with Michael but me. And he explodes Cass.
Yep. It's the second time Cass has been exploded.
Yeah, poor Cass, always being exploded. And of course, as Dean is getting upset about that, and Lucifer's like, I tried to be real nice. I tried to not hurt you, leave you out of it. I was willing to be a cool dude, but and then bam, 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 Bobby tries to shoot him with the Colt. Oh, yeah. Bobby. No, Bobby's neck gets snapped. Yep. Now Dean's real upset because Bobby's gone. And
I think Cass I cried at that moment.
Yeah, all our friends are dying. And then he goes, Sammy, I know you're in there. I just want to let you know I'm here. I'm here for you. Punch, punch, punch. He's here. He's going to feel your bones break, every single one, and we're going to take our time. Punch, punch, punch. And then right as we're gearing up for like super punch, which is like the physical equivalent of the Bond villain speech, I guess, a glint of the army man jammed into the ashtray of baby gleans off of Sam's eye, and all of a sudden this montage, whew,
this is when I started crying openly.
A silent win. I literally can't watch it. I turn away. I can't even, like, I've sat through it so many times now, like when it comes on I just have to like look at my phone for 20 seconds because it's so heartbreaking. And I mean, even then, it's only 5 seasons, but like going back to season 1, they look like little babies.
They do, with their little short hair
and you just, again, this whole episode is written like, bye. It's called Swan Song. We tried to tell you we're out of here. This is they're not bringing us back. Like, it's been a good ride. 5 seasons, no movie. Can't blame that. And yeah, so just as the catches and the montage ends, Sammy takes over and he says, "I got him, Dean, I got him." And he grabs the rings and he throws the rings and opens the cage in the ground. And he's sitting there and Dean's face is all bloody and he's staring at him and he's going to jump in. But then Michael shows back up. "Sam, I can't let you do this." Sorry, I forgot. I need to do my Michael voice. "I can't let you do this, Sam. We need to fight. Why aren't you letting me fight? I've been waiting for so long. First your brother won't let me use his body. Now I gotta use this dumb one and now I can't even fight." And Sam is like, "All right, just come into the hole with me, you jerk."
Yep.
And grabs, and as he runs at him, but then he grabs him. They fall into the cage and the cage shuts because I guess once something goes in it, it shuts automatically. I guess that's how that works.
Sure.
Yeah, nothing went in it before. Satan or Lucifer just closed it up with words. But I guess once something pops in, end of cage, no further steps needed. Into the cage they go, and now we're left with Dean all bloody, sitting in a field or in a cemetery by himself with a dead Bobby and an exploded Cass, going, "Ooh," and no brother. What is happening? What's going on? And then he looks up and there's Cass. Holy cow.
Yay!
They pulled a real Chewbacca on us on this, didn't they?
Yep. Cass is alive. Woo!
Yay! And new and improved and better than ever. Not only does he have his wings back, and look at him fix Dean's face, because man, that makeup is expensive when you don't know if you're coming back for season 6. Not too many shots with that now.
It was really good though.
It was so good. They don't bloody him up enough because again, makeup is expensive. But when they do, and that was an all timer. I mean, his face is just beat to a pulp. It's Rocky levels of
he's all swollen and puffy and gross.
So Cass fixes his face, and then Cass is like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Even more powerful than ever." Brings Bobby back to life.
Yay!
Boom. So stakes kind of lowered now from what we thought a few minutes ago. We get at least a couple players back on the board, but it still sucks. Still sucks. Sorry, going through that, I went way too far down onto the page. Let's fight. Hey, ass butt, Lucy. Snapchat's got all that. Montage, Sammy, Cage. Oh, I did write Sammy. I wrote Sammy and then anyway.
Didn't count it.
Didn't count it. Guess back to Chuck. That's right. So this is Chuck's final thing, and Chuck is saying it's so hard to end. It's so hard to end things. Writing endings is hard. Writing any schmuck can write a beginning, but how do you write an ending? Either you never know where the story really ends because none of us really know how our own stories are really going to end. So anyway, but and then you leave so many fans either disappointed or angry. No one's ever truly happy with your ending. Talk to George R.R. Martin or HBO about that.
Yeah, for sure.
or people who made Star Wars or whatever. And then he says the line that he delivers, "Nothing ever really ends, does it?" Or that's the thing about endings. Nothing ever really ends, does it? And then he disappears.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
In his fresh white shirt, looking more godly than we've ever seen, he disappears into thin air, leading us to go, oh, he's more into prophet, for sure. And I think at this point, we all should probably just assume he's God. Because we get the great line when Cass shows back up where Dean goes, "Cass, are you God?" And he goes, "No, but I'm pretty sure he's the one who brought me back." Which is then what leads to our next conversation, which is the boys in the car or sorry, it's Sam and Cass. Yes, Sophie. Sam and Cass in the car. And this is where Cass delivers the line, which would you rather have, peace or freedom? Because he says, you got what
Yeah.
you wanted. You got no paradise. You got no hell. You just got more of the same.
More of the same.
Which would you rather have, peace or freedom? And then he kind of dips out.
Yeah.
Because he's basically like, I'm the new sheriff in heaven.
Yeah, he's got to go back to heaven.
I gotta go to heaven and get working on a possible storyline for seasons 6 or 7. So yeah, and now there's Dean, just like, I don't know why I wrote Sam, but there's Dean in the car just by himself now, and he's like, where do I go? And of course he goes back to Lisa, and he says, I'll take you up on that beer. And yeah, as we're fading out on Dean enjoying possibly his apple pie life, we get one of those pesky street lamps and it starts buzzing, and then we pan down and there's Sam.
There's Sam. Looking like
there.
A guy without a soul.
Yep, looking real soulless.
Yep.
And then you go, oh yeah.
He's back.
He's back. Sam's back. Maybe we're not done. So they do leave that door cracked open.
Yeah.
But I guess what would have been the fate had that been the end? Would
we just would have never known.
Supernatural just would have been like this show famous for teasing a thing.
Yep, just like Firefly.
Yeah, I guess they would have totally in the way things happen today. I think Supernatural would have brought it back. They would have rebooted it.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, holy! They would have rebooted it. I think.
Yeah.
If they had left it on that, and then maybe you get a few years down the road, and someone's like, we should really revisit that because that didn't. Yeah. So that is season 5, episode 22, and the finale of season 5, Swan Song.
Swan Song.
I think that there is no doubt that by the end of this episode, we all should have known that Chuck is God.
Oh, Nate.
I think that the writers definitely had I think that this episode proves it, that from his inception as a character back in season 4.
Disagree. I agree that it's provocative that he disappears.
His first episode
I still don't think that they know that he's God.
His first episode is titled The Monster at the End of This Book.
Yeah, but then they go 13 seasons without bringing him back.
I think the long fix was in, because I think you could apply it to, okay, if they thought that this season 5 was the end here, he really is kind of like, in their minds, he was the monster at the end of the book because he's the one who wrote all of this, and then he just dips like this jerk of a god that he is. There's so many things we could try to really break down about the writers of the show and their philosophical feelings and everything. But I think that, because monster at the end of this book doesn't come, it comes towards the end of season 4.
Right.
So I think they maybe just have this idea of like, okay, we've got this guy who's basically this is the boys' god. Is he writes the boys, everything he writes comes true. And will claim that he's a prophet. But he's, of course, going to be much more than that, because this is supernatural.
Okay.
We've already seen that with Gabriel / Loki / the trickster, that they are fully willing to take a character and make them more than one thing and have you learn more and more about them as you go on.
Right, but I think, just like we talked about with Gabriel, they didn't know at the time that he was Gabriel. They thought he was just a trickster. They thought that character was so fun, they decided to bring it back.
I think that they had, because at first, like we just talked about, like it's speaking of disappearing or not, or reappearing, right? He plays them, and we just assume, oh, it's like, yes, he's a trickster, he's Loki or whatever, but obviously he's much more than that. I think the writers, again, given how seasons 4 and 5 play out and interplay together, I think it's all part of the long plan.
I forgot to ask a question. At one point, Satan Sam says, we're the same. MFEO.
Yeah, I
What
don't
is
know.
MFEO?
And then Sam's response is like I'm pretty far from good.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I
going to
didn't
Google it. What's MFEO?
MFEO.
Made for each other.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. All right. So how did our rules play out?
Oh, yes. How did the rules play out?
I have a feeling I might be off of you on some of these.
That's fine. The because Chuck doesn't come back again until the end of our favorite episode, the musical.
Yeah.
Fan fiction.
Yeah.
That's season 10. Season 10, and he just shows up at the very end.
That's when I think they know he's God.
I think they knew.
All right, so how did the
had to
rules
have known.
play
All
out?
right, how did the rules play out? How did they play out, Krissy? They're all the way back on this other page of my notebook. Here we go. Our man feels and BM scenes. I counted 6.
I got 7.
All right, there we go. We're right on.
So pretty close.
Chuck waxing about baby.
4 times.
I counted 3.
Okay.
Satan Sam or Satan Sam on Sam action.
I got 2.
Yep, I got twice as well.
Okay.
Pop culture references.
I got 8.
I got 7.
Okay. And I think we counted some different ones, so.
Yeah, interesting. Obviously, hey, ass butt is our shot, and then the cage opens or closes 4 times.
4 times. And he says Sammy 4 times as well.
Sammy. So yeah, if you're playing Sammy in there, it's a really good game. Otherwise, it's a real tight game.
Yeah.
Not too
so our
many.
next game is going to be a real mess.
Woohoo! I'm excited. What are we doing next,
Okay.
Krissy?
We're doing season 9, episode 15, #Thin Man. Are you ready for the rules?
Ghost Facers.
Yeah, it's a Ghost Facers episode. In fact, every time someone says Ghost Facers, take a drink.
Woohoo!
Take a drink for a pop culture reference. Take a drink anytime they suggest a culprit that it might be. So if they guess that it's a tulpa or a crossroads demon, take a drink. And then finally, take a drink every time someone says Thin Man.
All right.
And those are the only rules.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah,
Love
it's a great
season
episode.
9.
It's a really fun one. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking around with us to the end. Nate, tell the people where they can find us in real life if they want to see us do some comedy.
If you want to see us do some comedy, come to the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. We're doing shows every Friday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at 7:30. And we also got all sorts of other shows and stuff at other times.
Yeah.
But go to nctphoenix.com and you can find out all sorts of information about that.
Yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about Gank That Drank and you want to be a member of our podcast, go to True Story FM. Click on our podcast among the plethora of podcasts you can find there, and
Krissy,
join.
I just want to plug real quick and invite the people to Savvy Fest.
Oh
in
yeah,
February in Mesa, Arizona.
February 14th, 15th, and 16th in downtown Mesa, Arizona. We're having a 3-day improv festival with over 24 different acts, 5 different teachers teaching 12 different workshops. It's going to be a blast.
I mean, you can tell the people what it really is, Krissy, which is St. Valentine's Day Festival, and our love is improv.
Our love is improv. It's true.
I can't believe you guys are doing it on the 14th, though. I guess I didn't even clue into that.
Yeah. We'll see
Do
what
some
happens.
Valentine's Day improv.
Yeah.
There's no way that goes bad for anyone.
Right. Bring your
No,
date
honey,
to an improv
I swear
show.
I gotta go do this show. I gotta go do this 15-minute set. I swear I'll be back.
I'll be back. It's in Mesa, Arizona.
No, but come on down. I'm serious about promoting it. I was not trying to be facetious. I just didn't.
Yeah.
Until you said it out loud, I did not realize it was on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it is. It is. And while you're out there saving people and hunting things, the family business, be sure to keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on,
Party on, dudes.
What's up, Supernatural superfans?
It's Nate and Krissy, your hosts of
Gank That Drank, the Supernatural Drinking Game Podcast.
It's the podcast where we make up drinking game rules for a favorite episode of our favorite show, Supernatural.
We recap the episode for you and let you know how all the rules played out.
Then we let you know the drinking game rules for the next episode, so you can play along.
But we want to talk to you today about becoming an exclusive member of Gank That Drank, a Supernatural drinking game podcast.
Becoming a member is just $5 a month. It's easy to do, and it helps keep the podcast going, bringing you more fresh drink to gank. Or gank to drink, whatever.
One of those two. Plus, members get every episode early and ad-free.
With some extra bonus content at the end of each episode as a member exclusive.
We play games, we talk trivia, we chat about what we were watching besides Supernatural.
We talk about our lessons learned from each episode, and sometimes give you a geographical zoom in on the towns or areas the episodes take place in.
We have fun! Ha 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 ha. And we gank those drinks, and we want you to be a part of it.
So join us and become a member at truestory.fm/gankthatdrink.
And when you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things,
the family business.
Keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dude.